360-degree reality.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Benicia. So my last video where I uploaded my UCLA acceptance reaction got a ton of love, and I just want to say thank you so much for that. Anyways, ever since that video, I've been getting a ton of questions on how to get into UCLA and just the tips in general that I have to stand out as an applicant. So that is exactly what I'm going to be covering in today's video. So here is how to get into UCLA. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed because we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy to think, and it would make me so happy if you just stick around. I also have a ton of other college videos like this one planned out, so make sure you join the family and hopefully you enjoy these upcoming videos. And as always, if you guys have any video requests, just leave them down in the comments below and I will get to them. Anyways, I actually have notes for everything I want to say in this video, and there's a ton to cover, so let's just get started. So the main things I'm going to be covering in this video are grades, standardized testing, extracurriculars, volunteer experience, and personal insight questions. For some background info, UCLA is the most applied to school in the entire nation. UCLA actually broke its record again by having over 113,000 applicants for fall 2018. UCLA is an amazing school, which is why so many people apply and want to go there. What that means for you though is that as the number of applicants is continuously increasing year after year, it's getting harder and harder to stand out. So you're pretty much competing with the best of the best from all over the world. As scary as that sounds, difficult does not mean impossible, and I really believe that you have to sell yourself to the campus. You have to make them want you. So starting off with grades, use them towards your advantage. You don't necessarily need a 4.8, a 4.9, a 5.6, I don't know, whatever. You don't necessarily need that high of a GPA to get accepted, but the higher GPA you have, the better it'll look towards your application. A high GPA does show that you are dedicated to your schoolwork and you can manage your time really well. So I would say that it's in your best interest to keep your GPA up. With that being said, having a high GPA does not guarantee you admission to UCLA, because there's plenty of people this year with 4.5 GPA that did not get accepted into UCLA. So as a reference, I'm going to be saying some of my personal stats. I don't mean to brag. It's nothing to brag about. So my class size is 350 and my class rank is 1. So I definitely think that aspect helped my application, and it showed that I do work hard for my grades. As a general tip, I would definitely recommend taking AP classes if your school offers them, because colleges would definitely want to admit someone who isn't afraid to challenge themselves. So when you guys are applying, you're going to have to manually put in all your grades. There's actually a text box that comes up where you're allowed to write additional comments, and it's definitely there for a reason. So for example, if you didn't do well in a certain class but you have a good reason for it, you should definitely write that in. The people who are going to be reading your application are people, so they can understand but they can't read your mind, so you have to make sure to definitely type that in. An example of how I used the additional comments box was, so from 7th grade to 10th grade I took this college preparatory class, and it was one of those classes where you stay in it from freshman to senior year, but I actually stopped after my sophomore year because I felt like it really wasn't helping me anymore. So I made sure to write that in the additional comments box just so that they know I didn't like give up on it. It was more so that I wanted to push myself and do something different. So an overview of the most important things for the grades category is just to do what you got to do. Make sure you have good grades. Really try to have your academics be a strong backbone for the rest of your application. Give this video a thumbs up and also leave a comment below if you guys want me to do a video on how to get all A's. Okay, now on to my least favorite category, standardized testing. So these are the SATs, ACTs, and the AP exams that you will be taking throughout your high school career. To be completely honest and blunt, I absolutely hate standardized testing. I don't know what it is about standardized testing, but I just hate it so much. So I took the SAT, I believe, twice. I don't know if it was twice or 3 times, but I took the SAT and I hated it. My score wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. It was just kind of there. So I feel like it didn't help my application and it didn't hurt it. It was just, like I said, it was just kind of there. And so once my SAT score was just like, okay, I just gave up on the whole SAT thing and I just didn't even bother taking the ACT because I hated it that much. So don't do what I did. I definitely recommend you guys to keep on pushing for a really competitive score. In order to study for the SAT, I definitely recommend SAT books and also Khan Academy. I'll have the link for Khan Academy in the description box in case you want to check it out. It's completely free and it actually has practice exams that are made by College Board, which makes the SATs. So it's a really efficient way of studying. Okay, now on to extracurricular and volunteer experience. Your extracurriculars, along with your volunteer experience and your personal insight questions, is your time to shine. So far, the people that are reviewing your application have only seen numbers. Your GPA, your SAT scores, your ACT scores, your AP exam scores, they're all numbers, but this is your time to show that you're not just a number. I really emphasize this in my UC Berkeley video. As students, we are always placed as numbers, and it's really annoying because we have our class ranks, our GPA, SAT scores, ACT scores, AP exam, our student IDs are numbers. Everything is a number. But in your college application, do not be a number. With your application, you really need to focus on getting your personality across to them. Otherwise, you're just going to be grouped with everyone else as a number. For your extracurriculars and your volunteer experience, always remember quality over quantity. So for example, being in a club for 4 years and working your way up into a leadership role may look a lot better than being in 10 clubs off and on. This is your opportunity to really show your passion and devotion for what you believe in. So for example, in my application, I really focused on the clubs and organizations that I've been with for a really long time, because I felt like it showed that once I put my mind to something, I won't stop until I get it. This is also a great opportunity to show your leadership skills, because if you think about it, they want to say that the next top leaders of the world are UCLA alumni. So overall, really just use the extracurriculars and volunteer experience sections as an opportunity to show what you can bring to the campus. So last but certainly not least, I'm going to be talking about your personal insight questions. So I don't mean to scare you guys or anything, but the personal insight questions section can either make or break your application. It is so important to choose your questions carefully, and in order to do this, I definitely recommend making a brag sheet where you write down pretty much everything you've ever done for these last few years, like clubs, sports, volunteer experiences, work experiences, things that happened in your family, and you can start highlighting the things that you feel like really impacted you as a person. So for me, I feel like my volunteer experiences have really shaped me into the person I am today, and that is why I chose to write about them. But after you're done with this video, I definitely recommend you guys taking a look at the UC personal insight questions. I'll have a link to it in the description box below. I recommend you guys just looking through them and seeing if you can start brainstorming about what you want to talk about. Having a general idea of what questions you want to answer and how you're going to answer them will really help you out during that month of applications, because at least for me, my mind was completely flustered with ideas and thoughts and just stress in general. So I felt really glad that I had a general idea of what I wanted to talk about. With that being said, I definitely recommend starting your personal insight questions early. So you obviously can't log into your application and start it early, but you can just type it up on Google Docs. Another tip I have for you guys is that if you guys are going to be talking about your hardships in your personal insight questions, I definitely recommend you guys to do it in a way that shows your strength, because a lot of times those responses look like they're looking for pity, which shouldn't be your goal. You really shouldn't want their pity. You should more so want their admiration. So if you are going to be talking about a hardship, I definitely recommend you guys talking about how you bounced back from it and how you learned from it, how you improved from it, and how that really shaped you to the person you are today. I also really want to emphasize that you should always relate your personal insight questions back to yourself. So for example, a lot of people talk about their family struggles and how being an immigrant really changed their whole perspective of things, and they'll talk about how their parents struggled to provide for them and, you know, all the hardships that their family went through. And I definitely could have wrote that essay myself. I think it's a great topic to write about. But you have to remember that when you're talking about, for example, your parents' struggles in providing for you, your parents aren't the ones that are applying to the school. It's your job to relate it back to yourself. You can say that it changed your mindset, and you can say that seeing your parents work hard for your future also made you want to do the same thing. Another vital tip I have for you guys for your personal insight questions is to show and don't tell. I emphasize this so much in my UC Berkeley video, but I'm going to say it again because guys, it is so important. Words are just words until you have actions to back them up. I showed that I love my community by talking about my community service. I showed that I love my school by showing how I try to improve diversity on campus. Okay, so the last tip I have for you guys for the personal insight questions, I know I have a lot, but I really just want you guys to be well prepared. Anyways, the last tip I have for the personal insight questions is to use your own voice. I know the stakes are really high for your essays, but I really feel like using your own voice is what can really win over whoever is reviewing your application. What I mean by this is that you shouldn't use too much of a laid back tone. You shouldn't be like, oh, hey bro, like please accept me. But at the same time, you really shouldn't throw in every single vocabulary word you've ever learned since 7th grade. I know we're trying to impress them, but we should impress them with our actions, not our words. So I definitely recommend finding a middle ground between really laid back tone and a really formal tone and just making it your own. Whew. Okay, so the very final note I have to cover today is to remain optimistic. Trust me, I know that college admissions are so freaking stressful. It feels like your entire life is on the line and one wrong move can break your entire future. But trust me guys, you guys are so much more than a college acceptance. You can find success anywhere you go, even if it's not college. Always remember that an education is an education, and it doesn't matter where you get your degree from, it's how you use it. So good luck everyone with your college applications. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And congratulations to all my future Bruins out there. If you guys found this video helpful, then please give it a big thumbs up and also subscribe down below for more videos. Feel free to leave comments down below asking for any video requests. And yeah, as always, I thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!